Guys, this is a Blender tutorial how to make a terrain. So I'm going to go over two or three different methods, and this is going to be part A of the video, which will cover one method. So it's basically using an ocean modifier and then making a high poly mesh into a low poly mesh. Okay, so you can add a plane or a cube and add a modifier, add an ocean modifier, increase the scale so that the height increases, and decrease the choppiness so that it becomes a little smoother. And you can now play around with the time to get the effect you want. I think I'll go with this. Nice look. And hit apply. Now once you have this, you have a nice low poly 2500 vertices mesh. You duplicate it and move it to another layer. Now in this layer, on this, basically what we are going to do is convert this into a high poly mesh. So the way to do that is, first let's apply a subdivision surface, make it 2, add another subdivision surface, let's leave it at 1 for now, and add a displace modifier. Now what this displace modifier would do is raise or lower parts of it to make it more high poly and realistic. So we're gonna add a new texture and call it displace big, and in this texture I'm going to use a clouds texture. So as soon as I use clouds, you can notice that it is a bit weird. So we are going to get rid of this weirdness by increasing the size to 2, maybe a little less, but yeah, 2 works fine. So this is with the modifier and this is without the modifier. Okay, now what we can do is decrease the strength a little bit to say 0.7 and add another modifier, one more displace modifier, and a new texture, and I'm going to call this disp small. I'm going to textures, select the smaller one and decrease the size to 0.001. Now you can notice that it's small but it's weird. So what we can do is decrease the strength to 0.04. Okay, that I think is a little bit too less, so I'm going to go with 0.1. Also increase the depth to 4 and now let me go into the modifiers and increase the subdivision levels of this so that we get a high poly mesh. Yeah, now it's looking good, looking more like a mountain. So this is the low poly version, this is the high poly version. sorry about that. In this texture, I'm going to reduce it. Reduce it to a very small level, and let's try hard. Okay, looks similar, but yeah, I'll go with hard. And the final thing you do is you apply all this. It's gonna take a little while. Apply this, apply the displace modifier, and also apply the other smaller displace modifier. Now you got this nice looking mesh. So what we can do is open the UV image editor now. Alright, tab into edit mode. Okay, first we can create a new image and say terrains 1A normals, and I'm going to go with 8192 by 8192. We're going to link this mesh with this image. So right now if I select all, you'll notice that it's not linked to this image. It's just a blank image. So you just go okay, it's gonna take a little while. Alright, now if you zoom in, you will notice that it's neatly UV unwrapped. So just tab out of edit mode. This UV unwrap is because of the ocean modifier which we used, and also tab into edit mode in this, and you'll notice that this is also not associated with an image. So to select this one, and now this is also unwrapped. So now both of them are linked to this image, which is the normal. Now what we have to do is bake the normals. So select both layers. First select the high poly mesh and then select the low poly mesh, and make sure you are in Blender render. Go to bake, select normals and select selected to active. What the selected to active does is it takes the high poly mesh, which is the selected mesh, and bakes all its contents onto the low poly mesh, which is the active mesh. So essentially these bumps would be baked on the low poly mesh into this image, which we can use in our game. So let's just hit bake and let it do its thing. So as you can see, we now get this high poly normals which are 8192 pixels wide, so it'll be a nice effect. Now if we would have used an even higher poly mesh, we would have gotten even better normals, but due to the limitations which I have to settle with this. Alright, so this is done now, and I can just go ahead and save this image, and I'm going to go with a JPEG format. You can go with PNG, but it's too big a size for me to save now. Okay, and I'm going to save it as this image. So it's terrain 1A normals. Alright, so the next thing which we can do is delete this high poly mesh. Now we are left with just this 2500 vertex mesh and this normal image. So we can do is add a new material to it. All this land, and add a new texture, name it normal. Okay, land normal, and coordinates are UV. Let's go into texture mode. Add a change this lamp to a sun lamp. It's looking weird now, but I'll fix it in a while. Okay, now in this alright, in this type we'll select image or movie, and from the image we can select this image, and under image sampling you can enable normal map, and under image alright, under influence you can enable normals, no color, and select GLSL shading from here. So as you can see, that low poly weird looking mesh has been converted into a high poly. I'll still do some things. Alright, alright, so I'm going to 0.3, 0.5. See, as you can see, this is not that bad. So I'm going to go with nice dark brown color, decrease the specular intensity, and now this is going to look exactly like such in our game. So a little bit of shininess, even less. We can always add a new texture which could, for instance, mark this into layers of land, dirt, grass and mud. We can use compositing noise texture for that, or we can use cycles to generate our texture. And so yeah, a little light, Okay, now combine this with a nice sky and some good lighting, and you'll get a even greater result. I'll show that how to do in the next video, in another video. For now, as you can see, this is without the normal map, very simple looking, and this is with the normal map, which is quite real in my opinion. You get all these bumps without the high vertex count. So in the world settings, we can change the horizon color to something like blue, and ambient color to something like little dark. So if made with grass and everything, this will be pretty real. And also this, you can use an even higher resolution image to make even greater bumps. See, this is without and this is with. Okay, so I'm going to save this now. Okay, I'll do it later. So alright, so I forgot a couple of things which made my terrain look really better. Now first of all, it was set as this. So yeah, it was this, maybe this. Okay, so you can also increase the hardness of it so that it looks like a hard mesh, and decrease the ambient from here. Let's try with increasing the normals to 0.8. I think 0.4. You can play around with this, and let's try changing it to different type. Okay, I think I'll go with this. No, I'm going to go with default one and increase the intensity just a little bit. And increase the hardness. Okay, let's increase it just a little bit so that we get these nice shiny effects, and decrease this intensity. Okay, and increase this normally to 0.7 maybe. I think this is a much better looking, just a 2500 pixel worth of 3D model. Maybe 0.6, maybe 0.4 again. Yeah, this also looks good. Okay, so I'll save this and stay tuned for the next one.